What is going on, guys? We're talking Star Wars Rebels, and tonight's episode was Legends of Lasat. Now, Legends of Lasat is basically a Zeb episode, which is kind of crazy. When I was watching this episode, it made me think, like, damn, like, everybody from Sabine, Kanan, Hera, Chopper, everybody has a story. Everybody has a background story, and just everybody coming together to the ghost ship. We know Ezra's story, like especially Sabine. Sabine's was last week's, just getting a little bit more hint of her story and where she came from. But this week we get Zeb, and it was necessarily not too interesting of an episode, but there was a lot of moments in there that made it very, very interesting, and I'll get to that in a minute. So basically what we had here, just to give you a little recap, was Zeb, the crew, Hondo is back. Hondo makes an appearance, and Hondo to me is like a Lando Calrissian, or whatever the fuck you say his name. He's like a Lando. He's very, wishy-washy. He's out there for himself. He's like a pirate. He's a smuggler. This guy's but he's a charming mofo. What can I say? Well, anyway, so he basically brings a crate or sort. It seems like supplies or whatever, but it's actually two people who happens to be Zeb's people. Happen to be an old little Zeb and another older kind of guy who looks like Zeb as well. Those are his people, and we find out in this episode that Zeb actually was a captain in his own ship, which is crazy. Like, he was a captain. Like, even Ezra was like, "Oh, dude, you're a captain," but it's just the fact that Zeb led a ship. I mean, we know Kanan is the general. He's the one that everybody follows their orders. When he says something, everybody says, "Okay, Kanan, we'll follow you to the death," basically. So Zeb having just a ship is just like a crazy idea to really play around with. So basically, they take these two Zeb's people. Zeb is not really. There's something wrong with him, because he's very irritated that, damn it, we have, and they know who he is. They definitely know who he is. They served under him. They even call him captain at one point, or a couple points. And he's just irritated by this whole situation. And we find out that's because he failed his people. He failed protecting these like, I think it was like the Empress or whatever it was, like the royalty family. Like, his job was to protect royalty, and he failed at that when the Empire took over. So you had that aspect of him just having to cope with that. You had the old woman who has the way she's very force positive. Like, she is one with the force. She calls it something different, but she's one with the force. She states, like, there's a fool, there's a kid, and there's a warrior. And Zeb actually ended up being the kid, where that the kid was gonna find their new planet, because the whole mission was to help them find a new planet to live on, to find their home planet. And that's exactly what Zeb does, because he is the kid. He plays the kid out of her fortune telling, so to speak. So Zeb does that. It's real. I'll get to the moments that are really, really great, why I think this episode was a great introduction to different things. But Zeb does find a way to help these two, to show them where to go in their planet. And then, of course, they're being chased by the Empire. Hondo helps them, but yet doesn't help them by kind of betraying them, getting caught, and helping the Empire to locate them and getting like some money out of it. So it was a pretty Hondo, take it or leave it. Sometimes he's funny. Sometimes it's like, damn, you son of a bitch, you actually really did that. But it was not too bad of an episode when it came to the humor. So what I really liked about this episode was the introduction to a lot of what Zeb and his people's ways are. Like, he's able to turn his gun into like kind of a spear, and he's able to actually do some out of that spear, out of what his ancient ways or whatever. He's able to kind of like use another dimension, so to speak. So when the ghost ship was going into like some sun planet or whatever it was, he was able to put the spear into the ship, and he was able to basically relocate them to the actual planet that they're supposed to go to, like the planet that he found for them to live at. So the technology that him and his people actually use is actually really cool. It's really cool to see. The problem with this episode was the fact that I didn't necessarily care. I don't know if it may be the design or just the overall how it's a Zeb episode and how I say it. Like, Zeb is good as a secondary character, not a leading character in like an episode. I felt like this episode was okay. It was fine. I didn't really care too much about invest too much into the story. I think it really works in the second half of the episode instead of the first half. So the setup was a little bit tedious, a little bit boring to me, but the second half really took off with the introduction to a lot of what Zeb and his people's ways are and how the use of the technology and all that stuff. So overall, and then it was a great little happy ending where Zeb goes to the planet. Of course, he's going to come back to the ghost ship. He's not going to stay there on the planet with his people, or these two individuals, but we find out that there's more actually of his people on that planet, and that was actually his original home world. But it was not too bad of an episode. It wasn't the most exciting episode. It was once again the same thing where cat and mouse kind of play, where of course the rebels are going to be victorious, but I'm hoping in the future down the line. We did get introduced to Darth Vader in the beginning of this season, and he has yet to make an appearance really. I would like a lot the Inquisitors, like I said. I mean, these episodes are fine. It's just it doesn't seem like it's an overall kind of arc we're having. It's just an individual kind of episodes, which works really well with a couple series here and there, but for Rebels I think it really works to have an arc and to have a beginning and a goal set. So overall, this episode was okay. Great, to know that, Zeb and his people and what they could do and what they're capable of doing. So, and also the different forms of the Force. So thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like the video if you like it, and comment below. And I'll see you guys next week. So don't forget to check out the Star Wars giveaway I'm having. And you have until the end of the month, so check it out. So, bye guys.